Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this review is for the movie called Monsters and Men. When a young father witnesses the police shooting of an unarmed black man, the tight knit community of Bed-Stuy is pushed to the brink in Reinaldo Marcus Green's Sundance Award winning portrait of race, family, and consequence. This is a 2018 film. It is rated R. It runs an hour and about a half. And it stars John David Washington, Anthony Ramos, Kelvin Harrison Jr., Chant Adams, Jasmine Cephas, Jones Cara Buono, and has some other people too. Monsters and Men. Well, first off, this was in a Sundance award-winning film, and it was in some smaller theaters around me. I never got to it because it wasn't really around me, but I did see it was around. So I didn't give it a chance, but I saw it, on my movie alert app that I have and everything. So I know it's around. I know it's in theaters. So I was going to check it out, and so I'm glad I got a chance to see it. The biggest question raised by this movie is kind of a dilemma. It's, if you're doing what is right, if you're doing what's acceptable, it's a big question. The first thing that gets brought up is this kid he videotapes a cop shooting just a citizen, and the situation around that gets more complex. But it's like, what is the right thing to do? He gets presented with the situation that he just got a new job, he has a baby, he has a family to take care of, and maybe he was in trouble before, so if he submits this video anywhere, then maybe his whole life would go up in shambles. And so, and then of course we all think, as a movie watcher, we're cheering for him to submit the video, at least to the media or something. But it's good to have that kind of like struggle in your movie, but we also need some kind of conclusion. So the fact that they lose track of that kid, kind of seems like the main character of the movie. It starts out with him. It has this big old, question of what he should do and everything. We kind of get attached to him and his situation, and the way they kind of end that segment, and they move on to the next segment, and they never really come back to the main character at the beginning, I think is horrible. I completely lose track of the main character, and you're wondering what happens to him. I hate that feeling. You really get attached to it. You've got to figure out another way to handle this movie. You can't just present this great question and this great character and this great dilemma and then just not answer the situation. It drives me crazy. So then we go on to the next segment, which is about this cop that kind of witnesses the first segment situation and feels kind of guilty about it because he's black, and then it gives us kind of his story. And it honestly, this second segment just ruins the movie for me, because everything that this cop says and does and the way he acts just drove me crazy, and I just wanted to turn the movie off, to be honest. Everything he says is very awkward. The way he talks to people, his family leaves the house and they say, "Okay, bye, Daddy." It just just seems like the most awkward way to say goodbye to your husband, to your father. Just the things he says to them and the things he says to people around him. It just seems like something's off with him. And I can't explain it, but watching it just made me honestly roll my eyes the whole time. It was so bad. So I don't know why they went that way. They didn't have to. They could have stuck with this kid, stuck with his story. It would have been a really cool movie. It would have been a good story. But they just kind of threw him away and went on to this cop who's boring as all heck and awkward conversation. And everything he does around him is just like, what are you doing? Why are you saying it that way? And some of the lines that he's fed are just so off cuff, and they're just scenes that don't matter. And I just don't get all the reasoning for, some of the scenes they shot, like them playing basketball with kids and stuff. I don't get every single reason for everything in this movie. And with the awkward conversation and the horrible acting, I just thought it was really kind of a failure after the first, maybe a good 30, 40 minutes, because they really did focus on the first segment. But to let that go and then just go on to this boring guy. The other thing is about this movie having some guts. Like when I saw it, the first time I ever saw this movie, I'm like, oh, okay, so that's going to be about like dirty cops and stuff. I really expect some like high level stuff, like Purge kind of stuff. I expect a really graphic movie. And it is rated R and everything, but, I just, they have two situations where somebody gets shot and they don't show either of them on screen. The second one is a mention of two cops getting killed. The first one is this big dilemma in the first segment. And they don't really show anything. So I just don't know how we're supposed to take that. I take that as a movie not having any guts, about wanting to show something that they feel might be, controversial or something, but they're making a movie about something controversial. So that's kind of sending a mixed message to me, the movie viewer. So I just don't understand what this movie was trying to achieve, but obviously it got to some people if it won awards and stuff at Sundance. So, I was into it. I thought it had potential. I just don't know why they had to end the movie so abruptly like they did, and why they had to just throw away the first segment and not give us any answers. I was really expecting some answers from a couple different things throughout the movie, and when the ending ended, I'm like, okay, either don't present these questions if you're not going to answer them, or take 5 more minutes to just answer my questions. So this is not the worst movie I've ever seen, because I really thought it had potential. I kind of enjoyed it. I was into it, but I do think it's a C minus. I think it was kind of not much fun for at least half of it. So I'm gonna give it a C minus for the grade, and I just don't think it's that great of a movie to suggest. So it's kind of up to you. So thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would, and enjoy your movies. Thanks.